Here's a little riddle to start this review. Can you guess what BMW's most popular car is? In other words, the car they sell the most of. And if your answer was this, the fourth generation BMW X3, well, you are correct. This is BMW's most popular car. And of course, the reason it's BMW's most popular car is because it's the right size, it's the right wheel drive, and in this case, all X3s for the fourth generation are all-wheel drive. It's got the right amount of power, and it just fits into most people's lives. Now, this is the new X330. Gone is the I. That's going to be reserved for the upcoming iX3, which is going to be the electric version. But today, we're going to be reviewing this, the fourth generation X3. Now there is an M50 version, which is more powerful with a bigger engine, but this is going to be the model that most people are going to be purchasing. So in this video, we're going to go under the hood. We're going to talk about what's new. I'm going to sit in the front seat. I'm going to sit in the back seat. We'll see how much room is in the back, and then we'll take it for a short ride to see how it does. Now, if you're wondering how much it costs, you'll have to wait till the end of this video, where I'll let you know exactly how much it costs, because for the fourth generation, in other words, for 2025, the car is bigger in almost every dimension, and yet it has more or better drag coefficient, which means it's slipperier through the wind. Now, let me ask you this. What do you guys think of this new and revised grille? Do you like it? I think it's pretty cool. You know, BMW went through this period where, let's call it, huge kidney grille were the prominent feature on any BMW. Dare I say beaver teeth. But now BMW has taken down the kidney grille to a size that is more normal and more, I don't know if functional is the right word, but maybe respectable is a better word. And it just looks a little bit more grown up, a little bit more fashionable, and not quite as gaudy. Before we get to the interior, let's pop the hood. Now, this is a mild hybrid. It is a 2-liter turbo that puts out 255 horsepower and is paired to an 8-speed automatic. And like I said before, all X3s are now all-wheel drive all the time. And it's not exactly hugely powerful. If you want that, you're going to have to go with the M50. But when we take it for a ride, I think 255 horsepower is plenty to move this along. As you know, 2-liter turbos have become ubiquitous, and almost every German brand now has a 2-liter turbo in their stable, partly because of EU emissions rules, and partly because it is kind of the sweet spot in terms of horsepower versus fuel economy. Now, like I said, every dimension has gotten bigger in the new X3. It's longer, it's wider, it's taller, which is great if you're a big guy like me, because, well, it provides more room, which is always a good thing, especially if you're using this as a family hauler, or if you're using it just to get around town, or if you're using it to go on a road trip. So this is the latest version of BMW's iDrive. It's number 9. You know what? I'm going to put my seatbelt on here, and I'm going to turn this car around so we're not shooting into the sun, so you have a better sense of what the interior looks like. So BMW has, of course, changed the way you shift the car, like every other manufacturer, and has changed the way that the controls are laid out. So it started by pushing the start-stop button. All new BMWs have that. And then I like this feature, even though this is not electric, it does have an auto hold feature. I think that's one of my favorite features now in all modern cars, where you don't have to keep your foot on the brake. The car will just stay in place. And I think that's a really cool feature. We do have kind of a, let me zoom out a little bit here, funky shaped steering wheel, taller on the top than on the bottom, and that's of course so you can see this instrument cluster, which is configurable to a certain degree. Let me turn this around here so we're not shooting into the sun. You can get it. There you go. You can get a better look at the interior. Now, like I said, this is iDrive 9. You do have this rotary knob, which if you're used to iDrive, you'll be very familiar with. In this case, it lets you zoom in on the map. I'm here actually in Spartanburg, South Carolina at the BMW factory where this car is built. How cool is that, huh? And then, like I said, this is configurable. But the thing that immediately struck me, and once again, I'm going to be shooting into the sun, so let me turn it around some more. Come on, Roman, you can do better than this. There we go. And we might be doing a little bit of off-roading here just by accident. Is this? How cool is that? So not only is this X3 logo here kind of cool, but the vents are capacitive. So you can open them, close them. I'm going to zoom in on that for you. So at least I can do it. So you can open and close them just by sliding your finger up and down, which I think is pretty darn neat. We do have, like I said, this very big floating screen, which has become now part of BMW's design language. And then BMW, like many manufacturers, is determined to get rid of as many buttons, knobs as possible. And so now we're looking at a very minimalist approach. So if you do want to control anything, you do have a temperature slider here for, I believe that's your vents. But if you want to control, let's say, the temperature, you can either do it in these shortcuts right there, or you can go home, or you can do the fan right there, and then you can control your fan speed, where the air is blowing, how hot it is, whether you've got your heated seats on or off with the screen. Now, I got to tell you, I'm not a big fan of that. It works very well when you're sitting here just controlling it, but when you get on the road, you tend to kind of struggle to find the right point to hit. And yet manufacturers, like I say, are getting rid of all of their buttons and knobs. And they'll tell you it's to clean up the cabin, to make it more functional, more dynamically and aesthetically pleasing. But to me, it just makes it harder to use. And that's a personal thing. I understand that. Same thing with these controls. I'm not a big fan of these haptic controls where this is nice. That's actually a real button and a real dial to control the volume. But these things are just kind of silly. I mean, we're doing things, but what we're doing can be a mystery. And over here, of course, you've got your cruise control. You still have paddle shifters, automatic headlights. At least they kept that. And then there's this big phone cubby here with two USB-C ports right there, just in case you forget what car you're in. Volume scroll knob, which is not bad. And then, of course, different drive modes, which allow you to personalize your experience from personal to sport to efficient to expressive to relaxed to digital to silent. In other words, you can match the mood of the car, and what that does is it changes the way the throttle response works, the way the steering works. This one does have a heads-up display, which is nice. And there is a pretty good-sized cubby right there. The seats have my favorite feature, which is the ability to slide out the little rest for the bottom of your legs. I've got a weird body, so it's nice to be able to actually support my thighs. A really nice feature. In general, very comfortable vehicle. The seats aren't too fussy. They're not pokey in any weird places. I have plenty of headroom, even though this does have this giant panoramic sunroof. And the steering wheel, like I said, it's a little strange. I like round steering wheels, but manufacturers have now decided that round is no longer in favor, no longer the flavor of the month. So every manufacturer has decided to, square bottom, kind of a big top so you can see through it. I just look at it and I miss the good old round steering wheel. I mean, they're literally reinventing the wheel. What can I say? And that's fine. But, sometimes some things don't necessarily need to be reinvented. This is nice. The locks are relatively easy to use. And then you've got your two position set for your seat and, for where you like to keep your things. When you open the door, it puts the car in park automatically, which is an interesting feature. Many cars do that. If you've ever tried to like back up with the door open, good luck, because that's not going to happen. So let's sit in the back. I am sitting behind myself, and very BMW-ish back here, so a little bit more firm. You do have a pretty big cup holder. Once again, huge panoramic sunroof, which I love. 4 little handles for all the passengers. And then I believe that's a little cubby where you could stick like a holder for your phone. I'm guessing at that. If I get it wrong, feel free to correct me in the comments. It's a little tighter back here. As you can see, I have headroom. I have knee room. But I'm a little bit more upright than I'd like to be. I wonder if I can actually recline this. Let's see if that's possible. If it is possible, this is my first time in this car. I don't know it. But it might be. I like this. That's kind of a cool feature. Oh, look at that. Very elegant. Nice little light. And then, of course, you do have the ability to pull this down. And then cup holders here. Pretty basic stuff. But the new vehicle is definitely bigger. In fact, my wife had the first generation X5. And dare I say, this 4th generation X3 is as big as her first generation X5. And of course, you guys know that is the way of the world. Things just end up getting bigger, and X3s turn into X5s, and X5s turn into X7s, and so on and so on. Whoa, that is a lot of space. 80, 20, 80 split seat, which is nice. These aren't electric, I don't believe, but there is a little 12-volt area right there. I thought maybe this allowed you to move the seat down, but it doesn't. Let's see what's hiding here. It looks like a space saver. Am I wrong? I can't quite tell. Yep, definitely a space saver spare tire, which is better than an inflator kit. A little cubby here, and then I suppose to drop these seats, probably do something like this. The good old manual way, and of course, unless you move that front seat forward, it's not going to go down, but there is a lot of room. I mean, you could definitely take this on a vacation. I'm going to go with mid-sized dog, friendly. Blaze, he is 105 Bernese Mountain Dog. He might fit, but he might be a little agitated. This is more like, a 55 to 65 pound dog. I think if you're looking for something that's super dog friendly, you might have to step up to the X5. Now, in case you're wondering, it tows just under 5,000 pounds. This one does not have a tow hitch. And 0 to 60 is around 6 seconds, which when I was a young man would have been Camaro territory. But now, 2-liter turbo can accomplish that in a big old family crossover. All right, let's take it for a quick ride. I'll put on my seatbelt, and we'll just go around the Spartanburg assembly plant, or as BMW calls it, Plant Spartanburg, because that's the way the Germans roll. Once again, to put it in gear, pull back on that. Let's see what kind of cameras we got here. Oh, we got a bird's eye view. That looks very sharp, and really can't tell unless doing this at night, then you can really tell. Let's see what the assist view does. Oh, look at that. That kind of shows you how you could back up. Recommended path. Start backing up. Well, let's take the recommended path. Let's see what that does. I am taking the recommended path. I am following the recommended path. All right, well, the recommended path has disappeared. So I guess we're on our own. Good thing I've got a backup camera and a rear view mirror. Now put it in drive, and let's head out on the open road and see how this new X3 does on the highway. Like I said, right there in front of me, if you look out the windscreen, that is the Performance Center. On that right there, let me zoom in on it, is the new Mini convertible. See? And then I'm here with a whole bunch of cars today that BMW has brought me here to drive and review. So not only are we driving the X330, but they also have, I believe that red one right there might be the new M50. And then, of course, there's the Mini Countryman All 4, and the one that I'm really dying to drive, which isn't there as the M5 Touring. So we'll try to get in that as well. Here we go. Howdy, how's it going? Good, how are you? You need my name?
Yes, please.
Roman.
We have vehicle number 12.
Roman Micah.
Do you have your
A badge?
Yeah.
I do have my badge. I'm sitting on it. That's not very helpful, is it? Are you worried that I might be just taking this?
Well, it's just our protocol.
There you go.
Roman. All right. Thank you so much. Have fun.
Yep, thanks. It does have California plates, so you know.
It's a long. What are you trying to say here?
It's a long way to California. All right, here we go. Buckle up for safety. Sure have. I was here yesterday at the Spartanburg plant, and they're celebrating 30 years at Plant Spartanburg of building cars here in BMW. And here's a trivia question. Well, what was the first car they built here? And I'm going to tell you a hint. It's not an SUV. And can you guess how many people it employs? I'm going to tell you, 11,000. In fact, I believe this is the largest employer in South Carolina. All right, that's enough about the BMW plant here. Let's floor it. Yeah, it's okay. I mean, you know, this is the small engine one, and certainly it won't take your breath away. I don't want to necessarily break the speed limit because it'll start dinging at me, as you heard right there. You can turn that off because right there it tells you what the speed limit is. It's 45 and I'm doing 47. But in general, it's a very comfortable ride. It's well dampened. You can, you know, I think step up, and I could be wrong, but I think you can step up to air suspension as an additional add-on to any of the X3s. I like the view out the front, very expansive. It gives you a good sense of the road ahead of you. The steering, you know, is fine. It's not overboosted. Sorry. It seems to do well, at least on this open stretch of road. As you can hear by that digging, I once again exceeded the speed limit by 2 miles an hour. And if you're wondering, I asked about this specifically because our Ineos Grenadier that we had did this and it annoyed the heck out of me. You can turn that feature off in your customized settings, but BMW now believes, and I'm not sure about that, that their customers like to be able to log into their cars and have a custom profile, so that if you do have a custom profile, you can turn that off in your custom profile. I personally don't like logging into my car. I don't believe that my car should be like my computer, and you know, I don't like it knowing where I'm going. I don't like it knowing who I am, because all that stuff, of course, is very hackable to some extent. And so this is the way of the world. This is the way for all you Mandalorian fans. All right, let's exceed the speed limit again by 3 miles an hour. And so this dinging, right, speed limit there, how fast you're going there, was mandated in California, and it didn't pass, thank God. However, it did pass in Europe, so the Europeans have to deal with that. Now, you can disable it, but in Europe, every time you turn the car on and off, it comes back on, which is, you know, a pain in the butt. In general, I like this car a lot, actually. You know, it's a little on the minimalist side, so I'd like to see just a little bit more eye candy, as opposed to, I mean, when your, you know, eye catches, you've got this giant screen, of course, or you have this giant cubby for your phone. But there are nice touches that are very Germanic and very clean in here. And I'm sure you could get different colored interiors, because this is a wee bit of black, as you know, as you look out the window. But in general, I exceeded the speed limit again, and I'm doing what the traffic around me is doing. God, when government goes crazy, this is the kind of crap that happens. But in general, I like this car a lot, and I could turn that off. So don't let that dissuade you from getting one of these. Now, we did talk about pricing. If you want the 30, that starts at about $50,000. But of course, you can make it more expensive more quickly with the more stuff you add. And if you want the new M50, remember they got rid of the I, that's not going to be the electric one, then that starts at about 65. So there is a $15,000 delta between the base car and the more expensive car, which, is significant. Anyway, guys, I appreciate you hanging with me. I will see you next time, and I'm going to go pick another vehicle. If I can get that new M5 Touring, that would be exciting because, of course, that is a car that we have not had in America for a long time, the so-called forbidden fruit, and BMW is bringing it. So every automotive journalist... Hi, Roman Micah again. I'm back. I'm back. That was quick.
Number 12.
Number 12. You want my...
Oh, yes. No, you're good.
You got me?
And then just go, if you're...
I'm just going to go in. Yeah, I'm parked it.
And then they'll valet it for you, actually.
Okay.
So if you pull in this first row here, they'll park it.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Of course.
And the cool part is, check this out. Look at this. They've got, because we're at the plant where they build them, they've got the different generations of the X5, which if I have time, I'll also try to get into. All right. We'll see you next time. Remember, go to alltfl.com for more news, views, and real-world reviews. Ciao.